Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Rainbow Pitch League. We are here. The Swiss portion is over. We are in the top 8 cut. And of course, with me, that was a weird way to say that. Of course, with me, I have Elaine. Welcome.
Hi, hello, top 8. I can't believe it.
Yeah, no, we have somehow made it to the top 8. We have 8 fantastic participants from all across the world. We have Oceania, represented with New Zealand and Australia. We have people from North America, from the States, and do we have a Canadian? I can't remember. No, we have people from
No.
the UK and we have people from Brazil. So it's quite a global affair we've got going on in the top 8. Speaking of our international kind of contingent, we have Sable on the left playing Prism, and on the right we have Sofia playing Azalea. And yeah, so
Yes.
despite being different time zones, we've both somehow just woken up.
Yeah, that is true. It is early morning for me and late night for you, and we are ready to get into some flesh and blood. Before we get started, should we mention our top 8 sponsors?
We should definitely do that. So, our sponsors for the top 8, we have Premier Card Grading, we have Fab Foundry, we have, of course, our good friend Andy from API Source. We have our uncle Eswardi Theorento. I really hope I pronounced that correctly. We have Fabric, and we have TCG TED. So these wonderful sponsors have gifts strewn across the top 8. We've got a bunch to give out for the top 8. Um, and of course, we're just really super thankful that they're supporting us, as with all of our sponsors as well. And it looks like we've got some actions going on across on the right side of the table.
Yeah, that is a premeditate followed with a lace with blood rot, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, into some
And
kind of arrow.
that one's the amplifying arrow, so that one gets +1 for each
Okay.
bonus on it. And it did have Dominate. This is the
Rain
first turn of the
razors.
game. So we're starting off with a huge amount of basically unpreventable damage. We'll be getting the Ponder token, so we're going to get an Arsenal as well. This is just like the dream start if you're a Sophia. Um,
Yeah, this is a really good turn 0.
yeah, the prison player taking 10 damage, going down to 22 right at the start. It looks like we're still in Sophia's turn here. We're just kind of cycling the hand a little bit, I guess. Paying for the ward ability on the Empyrean Rapture after the damage as to not lose it. But just to kind of cycle the hand a bit more, don't really want those figments in your opening hands. Especially if you already have other yellows as well, you'd rather search for them. So, we have this Herald of Triumph here. This is a 2 cost 7. It reduces the power of attacks defending it by 1. And this is open deck lists. We should specify this is an open deck list event. Players know what each from the top cut anyways, open deck list. So the players know what each other are playing at this point. So Sable will know that Sophia only has 3 poppers in her deck. And the poppers are Blanches, 3 cost
Yep.
7s. So she knows the Herald of Triumph's effects functionally have no effect in this game. They're just kind of like slightly more expensive Fortune Heralds.
Yeah, and that is a figment of war, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to create a courage.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
There we go. Nice and represented. We still have action points to spend here, though, and here's an erudition coming in for 6 with Dominate.
This is on hit, go to soul and draw 2
Mm-hmm.
2.
2
Okay, I
cards.
was like, you are the prison player, so if I'm getting any of these wrong,
You're on a roll. I wasn't stopping you there. So, of course, yes, this
okay.
will draw 2 cards. This means Sable will have an arsenal option should this hit. And it's very likely to hit currently at this point. We know Sophia doesn't play any defense reactions. She may want to give up multiple pieces of equipment, which, if you're Sable, you're okay with this too. But Sophia looks like she's happy to let this go. Sable can draw 2 cards. and then the prism will trigger, allowing Sable to search for another Figment to come into play. So another fantastic, powerful start from Sable here, getting 2 cards into Soul, 2 Figments into play. She might even choose to flip one of them, using one of the 2 Soul, leave the other Soul for the next turn,
Mm-hmm.
doing changing her mind a little bit, potentially going for the protection as an option. Maybe going for something else instead. Nope, there we are. Figment of Protection. So this will give her a Spectral Shield.
If I'm not mistaken, Sable still has that blood rot.
Yes. She should do. Yep, it's still on the screen on Sofia's side for Sable. Nice little gift. We are transforming the Figment of War. And will we see her pay for the Blood Rot? Those 2 cards drawn will be super handy for that. She can pay for it using 1 yellow card or a blue card, and still have a card for the arsenal afterwards as well. And she'll really be prioritizing paying for this, considering she has transformed an angel, because otherwise those angels will eat up the entirety of that blood rot. But there we go, it's been paid for.
There we go. Yep.
But she chose not to arsenal, drawing 3 cards instead. Off the top of my head, I can't think of what she wouldn't want to arsenal there. But there's a lot of clunky cards that you can get in Prism that kind of hold up your arsenal, but maybe something like an Angelic Wrath or something that gives like a plus damage. Sometimes it's hard to get those out of the arsenal if you are being forced to block, which Sophia's going to try to do here. We are playing a Knock the Death Whistle. This allows her to search for any arrow and place it on the top of her deck, which sounds a
Reload.
little bit counterintuitive, but of course you have the Azalea ability ideally to put it into play with Dominate. And there's the Murkmire Grapnel. This is a super powerful tool for ranges to have against prisms, specifically. Also against Enigmas, this is a 0 cost 4, but damage cannot be prevented on this, which means all those wards will attempt to trigger. They'll all kind of destroy themselves to try to prevent damage, but the Murkmire Grapnel will not allow that to happen. So, super powerful card to have here when there's 2 sources of ward in play.
All
And
right,
here
so
we
that
go.
is a Lace with Inertia, followed by. Is that a Lace with Frailty? Lace with Inertia, Lace with Frailty.
I believe so. I think Blood Rot looks a lot more red from memory. And there we go. So here's a Murkmire Grapnel coming in for 10 with Dominate due to the Azalea ability. And this is going to cause a massive amount of damage here. Again, destroying all of the ward. The damage will still continue to power through onto Sable. Here we are, just a couple of little tokens that Sophia intends to gift Sable, who's going to choose not to defend any of this, taking all 10 damage, knowing it's a futile attempt here to even try to stop it. That Murkmire Grapnel being super powerful there, and one of the best weapons in the sense of like an offensive tool, not literally weapon, that the Ranger could have in this scenario.
Yeah, that was a massive attack with 2 on hits, right? The inertia and the frailty. But really, if you're a prism player, how devastating are those 2 tokens? I can't imagine they're that bad to have on your side, especially the frailty. I'm a
Mhm.
Kasai player, so I hate that thing. But
No, 100% correct. The frailty will not have any sort of effect
yeah,
on this game, even not even just this turn. Maybe in the game overall, but on this turn specifically, Sable didn't arsenal a card. There's no offensive weapons in this version of Prism. You're not playing like a Iris or the original Luminar, so turn your auras into weapon cards. And there we go. There's a Herald of Triumph Blue coming in for 5. We're searching for another angel. Potentially, there we go. The Herald Figment. Figment of Erudition here coming into play. This is going to give Sable a Ponder token. But with 2 soul, it is ripe for the opportunity to transform, draw a couple of cards, and to keep on going with this. And like specifically, Sable attacked with a blue herald, rather than like a red or a yellow one. So Sable's hoping to draw something a bit more powerful for this next attack.
Yeah, and the ponder token too. I mean, like you already said, the frailty token that Sable was given really doesn't have any impact on her turn.
Mm-hmm.
The inertia token could be a little bit annoying, but when you create a ponder token, it pretty much cancels it all out.
For sure, yeah. 100%. It means that at the very least, you'll have a card to consider arsenaling after the inertia token resolves, because you get to choose the order of which the abilities stack. So we have 4 damage coming in through with Soraya, the Archangel of Erudition. We're pitching a blue card here, 1 resource remaining, to come in with Herald of
Herald of
Protection Red.
Protection.
It's a beautiful full art one too. And here we have it, the Pauper. As we mentioned, there is only 3 of them in Sofia's deck, but this is a super powerful one in this scenario. You don't really want to be taking 7 damage, that's quite a big number. If you can block 7 damage with 1 card, you'd probably take that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Herald of Protection too. Even if you were to block some of that damage and the damage leak through, there's still the on hit of the Spectral Shield, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good card to get.
Yeah.
Not something you really want. Like, oh, I'm gonna take damage and I'm going to give you the potential to block more damage on my turn, right? It's not.
Mm-hmm. And also, crucially, the on hit of going to soul is also relevant, because Sable now has
Yep.
no soul remaining. That means that Soraya will not be drawing cards next turn unless she manages to gain another soul before that. And there we did see the interaction just with the inertia and then the ponder token resolving afterwards. So Sable was able to maintain an arsenal there. A read the glide path being revealed through the Skullbone cross wrap to get a little opt action, see if we can get something a bit better. Or maybe we don't even need something a bit better for this Azalea and this Ravenous Rebel.
Revealing an endless arrow at the top.
Mm-hmm. And this arrow is a super fantastic card on this matchup to kind of clear up these angels. They have 4 health, and they are allies, so you can attack them with the endless arrows and get that back. So you're not going down on cards to clear these angels, but you do guarantee that you get to remove them. But in the meantime, 4 damage is coming through at Sable. Now,
So
if
like
you're
Sable's
so
thinking about blocks, or maybe potentially taking a moment to potentially respond to the Ravenous Rebel on the stack.
yeah, um, you know, it's not just the wizards that can play at instant speed. Shout out to Rosetta, but yeah, there's definitely a consideration here of whether you want to try to defend out this Ravenous Rebel, knowing that you have to discard cards to do so, and that's going to be maybe, probably another attack coming at you after this. But instead, we are going to be activating the Halo, it looks. Just deciding which card to pitch. And now deciding which card to banish. Not banish, add to Soul, rather. Yeah, there's a lot to think about for sure, especially when you're in Sable's position. You know that there's an Endless Arrows on top of Sophia's deck. The Death Dealer hasn't been activated, neither has the Azalea ability, so there's multiple ways to get that Endless Arrows off the top, which, like I mentioned before, does a really clean job of just clearing off an Angel on demand. So, you have to make a decision of whether you are just going to let this Soraya go, or if you're going to fight for it. It looks like she might be trying to fight for it. We've got the Fortune Herald in Soul. We've drawn a card, and we're now looking for... Oh, there we go. This is a Figment of Ravages. This one does 1 arcane damage to a target player. Now, this is really interesting, because what we can't tell right now is what this Ravenous Rebel's attacking. whether it's attacking Sable or if it's attacking the Angel in the first place. Because excuse me, Sophia might have just been trying to clear off the board and attack the Angel straight up for 4. Most likely 4. Ravenous Rebel's pretty good at dealing 4 damage. But if she's attacked the Soraya, then you can actually use this Figment of Ravages to deal 1 arcane damage to yourself, destroying that Soraya. And very similar to Spectra, we now don't resolve this Ravenous Rabble and you lose your action points. And it looks like that's exactly what just happened here. So Sable attempted to deal the damage to herself, destroying her Soraya that was being attacked, and that is the end of the turn.
I'm glad you were sitting here with me that turn, because I don't I don't think I would have known that all that was happening.
My friends hate me for playing Spectra. I love Spectra.
I hate it.
Yeah. And here we have a Light of Soul being pitched to play this Herald of Triumph. There's a yellow Angelic Wrath off the top going to Soul. We now are coming in for 7 with -1 on defending cards. Sofia looks like she's going to take this, and that is going to Soul once again. Sable's on a bit of a roll here. She now has 3 cards in Soul. She lost her Soraya, but she probably wasn't going to be able to keep it anyway. I have to assume Sofia wasn't aware of the interaction of what was going on there, or was trying to bait that out. But we're getting to pretty dangerously close life total. What am I trying to say here? The life totals are getting a bit dangerous.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're doing great. You're on a roll. I am feeling like I'm getting a lesson in these prism interactions I did not know existed.
I love the deck. Like, just it is my favorite deck that's currently in Classic Constructed. As much as I love Dash as a hero, like the Prism deck is really just my kind of vibe. Yeah, and everything's just so aesthetic. It's almost a shame that Sable's just like kind of layering all of her figments on top of each other, because they have some fantastic full art there across
Is
a
that not
whole bunch of artists.
both of these? I There's been a lot of a lot of full art on Sable's side and a beautiful Marvel on Sophia's side, which you keep staring at Sophia's hero
Mm-hmm.
and the arrow and the because do they look like they're propped up to you? They have shadows.
Yes. So what I suspect is happening here is that there's a light glare. If you look at her arsenal, like the light is quite bad on that in terms of being able to pick up what it is. So I think they're being propped up so it's more clear and visible as to what they are.
Okay.
And here we have my favorite angel, the protection. This one is attacking. A soul is banished as well, so we're getting a couple spectral shields here. This is coming in for 4 damage.
That is my favorite angel in terms of art. I love it. And
Mm-hmm.
a passing mirage going down.
Mm-hmm. So probably not the most exciting card here for Sable, knowing that one popper has been used already and that there's only 3 in the deck, but it might come up. Sophia's probably going to leave that passing mirage alone for the remainder of the game. We have a Read the Glide Path, looking at the top card of the deck, keeping it on top in this case, choosing not to opt. And there is a Death Dealer using the Tunic to put a Endless Arrows into Arsenal. But we're not going to see that Endless Arrows because we're getting a Knock the Death Whistle. And this is the perfect time to get another Murkmire Grapnel, if I had to guess. If I was a betting person. And
Looks
there
like
we
you'd
go.
be rich. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not a betting person. Actually, fortunately, I'm not a betting person. But we do have the Murkmire Grapnel here. Now, it's a matter of do we have enough sort of damage bonuses to get over this? Because we still have a few defensive pieces of equipment that Sable could choose to use here. She could throw the Stonewall Gauntlet if Sofia increases the damage, but by a small amount. Like, we're already getting +3, so this is 7 with Dominate, which is pretty big already. It's going to be 10 with Dominate. It's going to be a lot harder to defend here with no arsenal, especially. It's going to be 13 with
Oh,
Dominate.
13 with Dominate.
Nope, it's going to be 15 with Dominate.
All right.
This is almost close to lethal. Like we might just have to use equipment just to stay alive here at this
That's
point.
pretty. Yeah, pretty disgusting.
Hmm. And this was kind of the perfect response to have to the angel protection specifically, due to the sheer amount of ward we're getting. This is going to clear up all of that ward. There's no way I could think of for Sable to prevent all of this. Um, and of course, there was no Arclight Sentinel as well. Like, if there was an Arclight Sentinel, we'd have 1,000% seen it before this arrow would have come out, and we would have not been in this dire position of losing the board. So Sable's just shifted all the ward to the side. She knows that she's not keeping it. It's going to be a non-factor in this combat.
Yeah, what a turn to kind of take tempo back here from Sofia.
Mm-hmm. Now, if Sable survives this turn, I mean, she will survive this turn. Um, she will have 3 cards to kind of come back at Sofia with, and that passing Mirage could come in super important here as well, just to guarantee that Sofia's going to have to block with the cards, but she still does have a lot of equipment going on to kind of block out as well. So currently we're defending for 4 with a -1 reduction on the Merkmire Grapnel because it has power greater than its base, thanks to the Stonewall Gauntlet. It's 4 on 14 at the moment is the current math that we've got going on here. It's not one of those percentages I know off the top of my head.
4 on. Sable's very, very pretty nails.
Mm.
I just have to say, because I've been thinking it the whole game. Okay,
Did
going
I
to 1.
miscount?
Something. I say some
Maybe I miscounted.
would have been.
Wait, 15's not. Yeah, it would have been.
15.
It would have been 16, not 15. That's where I went wrong. 4 plus 12. But
4
here we
plus 12.
have a Wartune Herald. There's 1 resource remaining. Sable really hopes, or in this case, I am hoping for Sable in this case that she has a blue so she can, like, transform an angel and attack with it, or Figment rather.
Oh,
And there we go. So we're paying 2 the hard way to transform this Figment of Judgment into Themis, I want to say is the name. Got it. It's beautifully signed, beautiful art, and oh, we're not attacking with it, or are we attacking with it?
no, I believe turn has already passed because we have a Skullbone Crosswrap activation from Sofia.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I miscounted the resources. I'm miscounting everything right now.
It's okay. We both just woke up. All right. So we have a Ravenous Rabble revealing a red drill shot off the top, I believe. So this is
Mm-hmm,
coming in for 4. Go again.
mm-hmm. And now Sophia, if she wanted, could attack the angel pretty safely, knowing that the Ravages is already gone. That trick has happened, um, but you're probably just attacking Sable at this point, putting the onus on her to either protect the angel or her life total. Um, and I really, oh no, we saw the Skullbone Crossstrap activation, so we know there's no Arclight Sentinel happening here. Um, Big. And there's 2 cards left in Sophia's hand, so if you're Sable, you're maybe concerned about like a pump going onto this Bolton shot that's an arsenal, followed by activation of the bullseye bracers into another 0-cost arrow, potentially. So there's a lot to be thinking about here if you're Sable, and like you're not going to have much of a hand after this turn if there's a turn after this turn.
Yeah, we are definitely approaching the end of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Both players have really put up a fight. Actually, I mean, this is not a matchup that I'm really familiar with, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been I I'd say it's a lot more grimy than I expected it to be.
Yeah,
Even though it's been a fast game,
for
so
sure,
much
for
push and
sure.
pull.
I just love that kind of. Well, Prism's a fairly defensive deck under normal circumstances, but the existence of these Murkmire Grapnels make it kind of difficult to be as defensive as you'd normally want to be potentially. Like, this is just kind of a full blown aggro. We are throwing our hands at each other. Blocking is optional kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
and I kind of love it. Like, I'm kind of here for it. We're just throwing big numbers at each other, um, and it's a beautiful thing to see. We just have the top card of Sofia's deck flipped over just to confirm for Sable. Um, and here we are using the footsteps at this point. We have 2 resources remaining. Do we have a soul? That sounds really weird. Does she have a soul?
No, I do not. I do not think that Sable has anything in soul right now. We are going to see a lace with inertia come through.
With that Bolden shot coming in for 7 with go again. Reload on hit, but also like death on hit. So,
That yeah. Oh,
oh,
that is
and
the
there we
perfect
go.
response. Yep.
I loved how she played that. She used the footsteps early on in the combat chain in case Sophia would break it, which she would kind of have to give the bonus onto that Bolton shot. And there we have it there, defending for 7 on this Bolton shot. 1 card in Sable's hand. And that line I called is happening. We're activating the Bullseye Braces, putting a 0-cost arrow into Arsenal, coming in for 4. And if you're Sable, you just have to let this Angel go.
Yeah.
There's no way to defend it. Your footsteps is destroyed because it defended a card with more than 6 power. So you can't do a cheeky 1-card block with the footsteps on this one. And you can kind of see it in the body language there. Of course, you still have to block as well because it went up to 5 damage.
Right, because of the bullseye's
Mm-hmm.
bracers.
Exactly. Sophia's going to drop to 4. Sable's going to drop to 4.
Back to Sophia. See what we can make happen here. So that drill shot that we saw all last turn on top of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Red in the ledger. I mean, read the glide path, my goodness.
Both are ranger cards that start with the letter R.
Yeah, I saw it. I just was like, red. It's a red.
They
Read the
both
glide path.
have 4 words in the name. And
Take aim and drill shot.
coming in for 10 damage. This will likely once again take the entirety of Sable's hand, and Sophia gets to Arsenal this time. It's kind of at that point of inevitability. Like, if you're Sable, you're hoping Sophia really kind of bricks on some sort of
Yeah.
hand, gets 1-cost arrows, and no pumps. A hand. Sable wants Sophia to draw entirely just arrows with no go again from this point.
Yeah, and Sable also knows that there's still 2 Rain Razors in this deck as well, because these
Mm,
are open deck lists, and Sophia does run 3 Rain Razors. We saw one turn 0, and we haven't. I don't think we've seen another since, from memory. 10 is just a lot to deal with when you're at 1 life and you're a prison player with no
mhm,
board
mhm.
state.
Now, she did gain 1 soul from the soul shield in the previous turn, so she could choose to transform that uh, figment of ravages, should she wish. But we're going to keep that figment for another turn. We're going to give up everything, and there's the Rain Razors, like you called it, and we're going to transform this. And there we go. This attack is fully prevented, there is 14 on top of 12.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to fully prevented. We're going to see another just draw up and pass from Sable, and you have to hope that I mean you survived the second Rain Razors, right? The chances that it's in this hand again is I would think pretty low. But I'm not the math whiz. You are, Kiki. Uh
The
we're,
cool
we're-
So the cool thing about the last turn's interactions is that she actually gets to keep the Empyrean Rapture because the ward wasn't triggered on it, uh, over preventing damage with the Angel. And that's like a very slight win for this very
yeah.
dire situation.
Third Ravenous Rabble hitting a Lace with Blood Rod off the top. So this is coming in for 4 with Go Again.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, this was Zalidan as well, so we're not going to see a dominated arrow this turn. But
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're Sofia, you're more than happy to just take every card out of Sable's hand once again. Maybe put an arsenal and be very demure, very mindful.
Oh gosh, that's not what you want to see.
No. This might be the game right here, if I had to guess. You're losing a card from hand if you're Sable. You're getting a card in Arsenal, but that's not going to be able to defend a breakpoint attack.
Oh, there's a second Codex, and you're getting a Merkmeyer back. Merkmeyer back.
Mm-hmm. And it's
So
just 7.
meditate.
You're giving your opponent 1 card to defend, and there's 7. Sable goes for the
Yep.
fist bump.
There's
They-
the fist bump.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. What a game. It was super swingy up until the very end. It could have been anyone's games. Massive numbers thrown across the board. So, how do you feel being welcomed in the top 8? We've done the Swiss. We're here now.
Yeah, I can't believe we are into the top 8. It has been quite the summer watching these players play. I mean, like you said, what a wonderful game. It was anyone's game. Very shows why both of these players are here sitting in our top 8 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to Sofia, but congratulations to both of these players for making it this far. There were some really talented players in this league. Like
For
we
sure.
got like we got to witness all summer.
Yeah, we had some big names in this game. For sure, across the league. Oh, should probably sign off. So, thank you very much for joining us for the first game in the top 8. Join us for the next one real soon. Have a great day.